Thanks, guys. Jay Anderson here, coming to you from backstage at the Paradise Rock Club, and I'm here with the woman of the evening, so to speak, Lissie.
Hello.
Lissie, thanks very much for taking the time to come and speak to us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
No problem, and welcome back to the Paradise, right? This is your second time here?
Yeah, we were trying to actually remember. We were here in May, but we didn't play here, and we were trying to figure out where we played in May.
It was right up the road, right? Brighton Music Hall?
I think it's a Brighton Music Hall. That's what it was. Yeah, but we played here, I think, a few years ago, so
Very
it's
cool.
good to be back.
Any particularly fond Boston memories?
I think the last time I was here, actually, so I have this reputation for liking tequila. Cheers! Because we did the Kid Cudi cover of Pursuit of Happiness, and going into it, I take a shot of tequila.
I think I'm gonna take a shot of tequila before I do it.
After that, it seemed that people came to our shows were constantly giving me tequila, and I feel bad saying no. And so if you have 8 people handing you shots of tequila, I think it was upstairs afterwards, our tour manager at the time was a guy, I think he was good at getting girls, through me. So he had all these girls he was hanging out with because he told them he would take them to me. So I have these 8 girls who just all handing me shots of tequila, and they carry me out of this place, and I just passed out in the van on the way. We drove to New York that night. I guess I drink too much tequila when I come to Boston.
Let's go back a bit. Before the tequila, back at the very beginning, you've been very musical pretty much your whole life, right?
I have, yeah. My grandfather was a barbershop quartet international champion, so he was very musical, and his mother was a good singer, and my grandma's a great singer. I mean, everyone in my family has just natural musical ability. But for me, I loved the performing, and I loved, I had this big belty kind of husky voice even as a kid. So I've just been singing since I could talk, or even before that,
Yeah, was there a certain age where you knew this is it, this is what I want to do, I'm going to make a living singing songs?
I think I kind of always knew it. I mean, I was Annie in the musical Annie when I was 9, and that was a big responsibility. I did 82 shows. It was at a dinner theater. And I liked that kind of responsibility at that age, and I loved the performance aspect, and I loved the theater, and I loved, getting to work with other people. And then in high school, I started playing guitar and writing songs, and it just, I should have probably been more realistic. I just had no doubt in my mind that I'm going to do this. This is going to be my career. I'm going to be a rock star. And so I never really would take no for an answer, and just have been doing it ever since.
Yeah, was there a particular artist that once you heard them, you were just so inspired, you knew that?
One moment I can remember just giving me goosebumps, giving me chills was when I was probably about 16, my cousins and sister and we drove the 3 hours from Rock Island, Illinois to Chicago to see Lilith Fair. I think it was actually Natalie Maines from Dixie Chicks. Seeing her on stage, and she's got such an incredible voice, and just seeing all these women on all these stages performing, I just was it gave me anxiety almost. I have to get up there. I have to do this. It was such a moment for me when I really realized this is what I really want to do.
You're talking about being in high school, sitting in your room writing songs. How would you describe your writing process now? Has it changed a lot, or can you still, gun to your head, put you in a room, you write a song?
It depends. There's different ways I write. The way I started writing was just if I felt some strong emotion or had something to say, just, it would kind of just come out of me. It would just was a release, a way for me to kind of deal with what I was feeling. As really an outlet, almost like therapy. So in high school, very much just if I felt like I had something I wanted to say, I'd sit down with my guitar and I'd write a song like that. I still do that, but in the last 5 years, I also started co-writing with lots of great writers. And so that kind of changed things a bit, because I get myself into the headspace where I could access all those emotions, even if they weren't happening to me in the moment, So there's lots of different ways I write. But I still do the thing where I just sit down and write a song if I feel the need to.
Yeah. Is that so Back to Forever comes out 2013, the last year. Mm-hmm. How did that come about?
Well, so for Back to Forever, took a long time to get the second album made for multiple reasons, just schedules and getting the budget all together and stuff, and getting everything approved to get going.
It's funny how a lack of money ruins the
yeah,
ruins the
I know.
effort. Huh?
And I was in a headspace more of not really going through something, but reflecting on kind of who I've been and what my patterns have been, and the situations I've gotten myself into kind of over and over again. So really analyzing that side of my life, and especially with romantic relationships, really being able to tap into all my memories and experiences to really present, I think, well-crafted synopses synopsises, or whatever the plural of synopsis is, of those events. And also, you know, kind of showing more of my, not necessarily political side, but, you know, I have mountaintop removal and Shameless.
I don't want to be famous, and I have to be shameless. If you don't know what my name is, then so what? I don't know what this game is, 'cause I'm not even playing it.
Pretty topical song, Shameless, about, you know, celebrity, and mountaintop removal about the environment, essentially. And how important it is to, you know, see that in the name of progress, we shouldn't destroy what makes our lives great. So I was able to sort of show some different opinions and sides of my personality. Anyway, I'm rambling on. But Back to Forever itself, that song on the album, was a song I wrote like in my parents' or my grandparents' closet. I was visiting them and I was looking through old photo albums, and I was really just aching for, like, you know, childhood and just the simpler past, and back when everyone was healthy and before some of the hard things that have happened in my family and I's lives had occurred. And, you know, I just wrote all the lyrics to Back to Forever, like just sitting in my grandparents' closet, like, kind of like weeping, looking at these old photos. And then I ended up going to London to work with my friend Martin Kraft, and we set my lyrics to music.
Take me back to forever. That's where I was born to be. How'd I end up in this land of never, only memories?
It's all emotions. It's all about emotions, really.
Well, no, that's cool. I mean, a lot of artists, when you listen to them, you can pick, you know, they're trying to sound like someone on a certain song. And it seems to me, especially on your last record, it's more, it's all life experience driven. You're drawing from experiences, not necessarily an influence or a specific genre.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Well, thank you. It makes it a little difficult, I think, for people to place me because, you know, every song is different and could be interpreted in a, you know, a heavier rock vein, or sometimes it sounds a bit country, and I try not to overthink it and just, like, let it be what it's going to be. But in this highly polished, you know, commercial world of music, I think people get very confused as to what I am.
Right. Well, speaking of confusion on where to place you, your cover record that comes out, you covered everybody from Danzig to Judas Priest to One Direction.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, that's about as eclectic as you can get.
Yeah, well, I think that's fun about covers, too. I think it really shows, like, you know, that you can break the whole genre thing. Like, a good song is a good song. So if it's a well-written song, you could, you know, put it out there in any kind of style, and it would still be good.
Well, you've covered some really cool tunes of these. You've done everybody from Zeppelin.
And she's buying a stairway to heaven.
Kid Cudi, and Back Again. So
And Lady Gaga,
yeah,
and
you've done
Metallica,
Gaga.
and,
Wow.
you know.
Have you ever actually gotten feedback from the artist?
Kid Cudi gave me good feedback. And him and I actually had this weird, like, accidental Twitter feud that was, like, based on a misunderstanding, but ended up being the best possible thing because we became friends through it. So he definitely was like, oh, this is really cool, you know. But other than him, no, Danzig hasn't given me a call yet, unfortunately.
I don't think he owns a phone.
I don't
just
know.
picture him living in a cave
I
somewhere.
don't know. Such a good song, Mother. I think only like 300 people bought that EP, so you can just, like, it costs like $2.99. It's on iTunes. It's called Crying to You, and I have, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of, like, Facebook likes or whatever. You would think people would spend $2.99 on me, but it's tough out there.
You've done a pretty good job as far as, I mean, you've been on the scene for a while, and you've embraced the new revenue streams. You've done the digital download-only thing. If you go to Lissie.com, you can scroll all the way to the bottom and actually tip you.
Yeah, that's a new feature. That's like, how tacky is that? Yeah, I'm independent now. I'm not with my label anymore. Like, things kind of just ran their course, and now I'm in this new position to sort of, I think everyone's trying to figure out what the new, like, model is. And so I had to redo my website. So that was just one of the features I thought I could put on there because, you know, if on Spotify you know that like 1 million people have heard your song, you're not really going to make much money off of that. And I know that's the future. It's not like I'm crazy for money or anything. It's really just practical. But if you can give people the opportunity to tip you if they want to, it's another way of them saying, hey, we appreciate what you do and we want to support you. So,
which is cool too. I mean, you put all your music up on Spotify, but with the caveat, enjoy, but if you really enjoy it, please buy it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be good.
Yeah,
I
fair
don't
enough.
want to be like yell at anyone. Just do whatever you need to do. But it, you know, it's a new, ever evolving like model of how it's all going to work, and I'm sort of trying to figure it out if I'm going to stay independent or, you know, there's lots of goods and bads that come with both sides of it. So.
Well, you've even gone down the tequila road, right? You got
Yeah.
your limited edition tequila. So
I do. So I have a friend who has a tequila and mezcal company, Metal. We went down to Mexico and met the family that makes the mezcal and just drank mezcal for 10 days and had a brilliant time. I really like tequila.
I think I'm gonna take a shot
And a
of
lot of
tequila
times you
before I
travel,
do it.
especially in Europe, like it's hard to find like 100% agave tequila. So I was like, I'm gonna just make my own tequila. So I liked his Reposado, made up a like really limited amount of, I think now we're gonna release like another 100 bottles, but we just started with 150 bottles and sold all those, which is great. I've
it
had
looked like they flew right off the shelves. So,
yeah,
there's
it went
definitely
really
demand
fast,
for it.
and then I had like 60 bottles just at my house, and it was like left and right, like just my friends being like, you know, hey, can I get a bottle of your tequila? And the next thing you knew, like I was out of tequila. So now we're gonna do another round, but you know, liquor business is like the music business, but different. It's like a hustle. I still don't know how much I'm going to like pursue being like a liquor tycoon or anything.
Well, as long as you have a supply, then I think you should be all
I
right.
do. I'm almost out though. Only one more bottle at my house, so I gotta make some more.
So you've been on the road pretty much since even before October, all the way through now. How are you coping with that? I mean, that's just got to be brutal.
Well, you know, I have fun with my band and crew, and I'm being a performer. I mean, that's where you get your worth and your will to live. It's like the positive feedback when you perform. You know, that sustains me. It makes me feel like I'm contributing something, and that what I do is of value and interest. You know, so you get a lot of like a high from the performances. We don't go like too long without stopping. So like, yes, I am kind of always on the go. But just recently, I was kind of home in Ojai, California, where I live, for about 4 weeks. I had a few gigs, like in California, but you know, we take breaks. And actually, I start to get a little restless if I'm home for too long. So I think I have that kind of gypsy spirit. So it's exhausting, but it's fun.
Yeah. So from here, you're doing UK for a little bit. You're going over to Europe, and then you're coming back to the States.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around? You're doing the States.
Well, I'm doing a couple shows in Iowa and Illinois, around where I'm from originally, doing a fundraiser and like a anniversary show for a local establishment in Davenport, Iowa. Like that's next week, and then I'm going to Paris and Amsterdam, and then we're going to play around England, and then we're going to Spain where I've never played, and then I come back, and and I'm also playing in Minneapolis. I don't know. I'm going a lot of back and forth. There's no full tour. It's just like lots of one-off dates. In August, we'll like play in the Southeast, but just like a few shows, and we're gonna start recording a bit in August.
Oh, cool. So what about going back to your hometown, Rockland, Illinois, right?
Rock Island.
Rock Island. Yeah. And what's the prep like for your hometown show?
Well, you know, I go home a lot. I only play a show there really once a year, but it's the third annual Laura's Legacy, which is a fundraiser I do for the ALS division of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My Aunt Laura passed away from ALS. So that show is like big for my family and the Rock Island Park Board. We all organize this big thing in the park, you know, fundraiser with like local bands, and I perform. So the prep actually is for me like a lot of like figuring out the sound guy, getting the bands to send their stage plots, you know, what are our activities going to be, what food vendors, you know.
So your set list is almost an afterthought.
Yeah, no, I mean the shows, they come, you know, we have so much practice. So like the actual performance itself, it'll just, you know, it'll be our normal kind of thing we do. But for something like that, the home show, usually I don't have to organize so many of the details, but that's like my baby with my family. So
Gotcha. So you touched on getting back into the studio. When can we expect a new EP, new studio record?
you know, I'm sort of like in this place where I'm between things, and I don't want to let too much time pass. But I also have been enjoying like just writing with the sole purpose of like, because it feels good and it's pleasant, and not trying to be like, I have to write a hit song. So probably as early as the spring we'll put out an album. But I don't want to like jinx it by saying that, because I think really what I'd like to do, which I haven't had the benefit of doing the last few years, is like just kind of write as I record and just be prolific and stay busy, and then afterwards be like, okay, this is either great or I need to do more. You know, I think I just want to kind of play it, see what happens, you know.
They all want you, but I do too.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time. Have an awesome show tonight. And for everybody back at home, head over to Lissie.com for all the latest tour dates, updates. Be sure to scroll to the bottom. Open up your wallet a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Do I get a cut of that now that I've done it?
We'll talk about it.
Later?
Maybe.
All right, cool. So anyway, back to you guys. Thanks very much.
Catch Dirty Water TV Saturday and Sunday night at 11:30 on Nessun, because the party never stops on Dirty Water TV.